Stream Elements said the busy builder is now live, streaming miniatures.
Hello. Excuse me. How is everybody today? I have a feeling today might be a slow day. So I'll need the B sprues and the G sprues. Ow. There's F. There's G. There's the bulkhead, goes right around here. We're going to be doing assembly and painting in many layers, it looks like. Okay, there's 2 battery boxes. Good. Just seeing if I need to open up the E sprue yet. And I don't. So, this one can wait. It's more external stuff. But I do have to get the F sprue opened. Sorry for all the yawning. I've had a heck of a week. Vincent will probably get to soon enough, but not in the near future. Maybe a couple months down the line. I want to see if and when they announce Maximilian, because I think it would be interesting to do them together. Okay, so G40. I kind of got it. Hello. Careful, girl. You almost took that box off the table. There you go. Good girl. Because a lot of the interior is silver or aluminum colored. It's a common convention amongst British AFVs. And then a lot of the paneling is painted a cork brown color. It's padding, basically. I've got one picture that shows it to good effect. And yeah, I may have to pre-paint quite a bit, possibly. Which I severely dislike doing. But there are things I can do in the meantime. Ow. Like track assembly, stuff like that, while the aluminum dries. Let me read ahead a bit and see what I can see. Yeah, these so-called color call-out instructions aren't the greatest either. They're CG images. And they don't even match up to what I'm seeing of an actual vehicle right here. Like, all this is silver, or aluminum. Same with here. This is tan in actuality, but everything sticking out is also silver. That's not that light tan color they've got there. So, Where's my aluminium? Did I not get any in this set? There I did. Yep. Okay. So I'm gonna go through and pre-paint a few parts. And then we can start some assembly. And then go back and do some painting. I think you guys can see how this is probably going to go.
Hello, busy.
Hey Leo, how you doing? But yeah, I took yesterday off. This week's been kind of shit, so I needed a day with the wife. She had her knee looked at. Turns out, kind of like Bruce Wayne, she's got no cartilage in her knees. And then that same day, she was stepping up to get in the house, and one of her ligaments went out on her. And my gecko passed away earlier in the week too, so that and just tired from work. I needed a damn day. I really do. And then you got this thing right here. She's just here. So how's everybody else been? We did go and see Return to Silent Hill yesterday. Save your money. The core story is there. But they tried to reconcile the other... I think it was 4 character plots between Eddie, Laura, and Angela in the game. They tried to reconcile those into the core story, and it didn't work. And then add in the fact that the visuals at times felt like I was watching that 2001 Final Fantasy movie because they overprocessed the shit out of everything. So it all just felt really plasticky and flat, and if you want Silent Hill 2, play the goddamn game. It's alright, Leo. It's the cost of getting near 50. You know it just as well as I do. Gonna be going back and forth between pictures to make sure I get the right thing sprayed aluminum. Anything I don't need to spray that color, I'm not gonna worry about. On the actual vehicle, it's just silver paint. This is the closest thing I got that matches.
George Davis 7629 said know that feeling. Hope you and the wife feel better soon.
Well, fortunately, at first she thought she tore her ACL. Because, I mean, she just went down like a sack of potatoes. Fortunately, she hasn't. But she's definitely taking it a lot easier. She is able to walk. She just thinks she stepped and turned the wrong way, and her body was like, "Nope."
Said I also don't like when they can't decide. Movie with CGI or near anime.
Well, that's just it. This wasn't so much like that. It was just really visually inconsistent. Oh, and it should have had a fucking seizure warning. I'm not prone to them, but damn. The amount of strobing in that film is headache-inducing. Like I said, the core story was there, but it feels like they just failed on every other level. And I really didn't appreciate the introduction of a cult where none was needed. Where in the first film, yeah, that one followed true. There was a cult in the film. In the second game, though, there was no cult. It wasn't necessary. It was the town being the town. Sorry, I'm trying to go ahead and get things pre-painted.
Said best wishes to the missus.
Thanks for that. She's doing better. When in doubt, paint it silver. You can always go back and repaint it. I'll have to do some touch-ups by brush, too. There's going to be a lot of brush painting anyway. I just want to start off with the bulk of it, and then we can adjust things from there. I'm gonna put a light coat on there. The glue should be able to get through it if it needs to. I just hope everything fits together as well as the M60 did. That kit spoiled me.
At Leo2A7DK said that is one saucy behind on your turntable. Smiling face with open hands emoji, shushing face emoji.
That's why she's there. Gotta have the fan service, right? Got the fans, gotta have the fan service. And thanks again for all the new subs out there. We've gotten 37 new subs since December 31st. So thanks everybody who's helping out with that. Now, like, these rails go along the roof. They may be a creamy yellow color, from what I can tell. Almost like, what's that one color they like to paint their fucking walls with over there? Magnolia. Very institutional cream color that everybody like to paint their walls with. Yeah, so I'll be scooting back and forth here. G50, 50, 50. B50, never mind. Okay.
At Leo2A7DK said, are you making it green, black, or desert?
Right now I'm torn between black and green or green and sand. I'm not too keen on desert just because I really don't like how plain just desert vehicles look. It's just, ugh. From a modeling perspective, they're boring to me. I'll have to touch up the sprue nubs on these, but that's fine. There's going to be a lot of touch up on a lot of these parts anyway. And I need to find a few decent 80s British soldiers just to put with it. Like they're having a brew up at the back of the truck. But being metallic paint, it always seems to take a little longer to dry. So let's get this cleaned up. I'll look at what I need to do the track stuff. And we'll get going on the track assemblies. Come on, paint, get out. I'm guessing it's done. We still got a ways to go before 1,000 subs, but we're getting there. Again, I appreciate everybody who's helped so far. And aside from Vincent, I did manage to find another nostalgic blast from the past kit. Found it for 10 bucks. So I said, yeah, I can't pass that up. Who remembers in the late 80s, just before the F-117 hit the airwaves, Testers released that. I might get one of those if I can find one. But no, who remembers back when just before the F-117 was, unveiled to the public, Testers did that weird YF-19 stealth fighter, and Monogram did one that looked kind of even weirder. But Testers also released a Russian MiG-37 to go along with the F-19. It was a reboxed artillery kit. And they called it the Ferret E. Well, I managed to find the 48 scale Ferret kit for 10 bucks on eBay. So, it's on the way. I kind of reached stalling points on some of the other builds, so I really need something simple before I get into the back to basics build, just to kind of cleanse the palate. They've all the others have gotten kind of more than I wanted to do, and like, not that I won't finish them, but I need to step back and refocus on them a little bit so I can get a better understanding of what I need to finish what I'm doing. Ow. The only thing I'm really lacking on back to basics is 2 crew figures, and they're not even that important. I just can't find another Tamiya 80s set that comes with those crew figures. If anyone has one of the Tamiya M60 kits, really all I'm looking for is the commander and the loader from that kit, or even one of the earlier pre-2003 Abrams kits. They can't have the body armor with the molly loops all over them, but if anyone has those, let me know. Because everybody's modern tank crew, not Cold War tank crew, but modern tank crew, is all post-Desert Storm stuff where they've got molly loops on their plate carriers instead of wearing the original gear, the flatter flak vests and the different style helmets. So it's getting harder and harder to do 80s and 90s era stuff because it's not supported anymore, apparently. Ow. Just trying to get the aluminum off the cutting mat. Yeah, if I seem disjointed today, it's because of the week I've had. Part of me wanted to be on yesterday, but I woke up and just thought about everything. I'm like, nah. I need a day. I need a day to myself, a day with the wife. We'd planned on seeing the movie anyway, but we were able to get out of the house earlier and get something to eat while we were out, stuff like that. Didn't rush through the day. Alright. Suspension. assembly jig. And to be honest, it felt good to get out of the house and not have to do anything. Come on, get off my finger. Yeah. Set these aside to dry up a little bit. Just carving in which side they go, because when you put the sprocket in, it'll engage these little points here. Same here. So this will be for the right side, this will be for the left. So this will go together similar to how I did the Abrams. But yeah, barring any life intrusion though, we're still on track for doing the Back to Basics on or about the 15th of February, starting it, depending on work schedule, really. That's the only limiting factor. I went and got the Celluclay. I should have picked it up yesterday. I was at the dollar store. I totally forgot. I didn't get the wall spackling for the mud mix. And also, to be honest, I really haven't done much of any model building in the past week. Just haven't felt like it. Just felt like just sitting on my ass after work. Did that go on the floor? Where did you go? Yep. Work's been just totally draining me lately. Not in a bad way, just it's been busy. Hi, Allie. Yeah. Pretty girl. The rest of this can wait to be put on the lower hull.
At Leo2A7DK said know the feeling. Fiddled a bit with a 40.000 Arva slider. Just to not have to be correct.
Even that, it was more like I just needed time away from the table, you know? Obviously I was still doing little things because I was putting up shorts and making the videos, but it's more like I'm prepping to do the back to basics build, so I don't want to get too deep into another thing. Because once I start that, that's going to be almost all I do. Looking at about a month total to do it. And I may even do, like, I don't know, should I record it separately and put it up as regular videos, or should I do it live? Because there's probably going to be a lot that I have to do off-stream, or I want to kind of break it up into shorter segments for anyone who is following along in terms of, like, you know, here's what we're doing, complete the rest of the build on your own. Nothing special happening kind of stuff, you know? The long and arduous task of road wheels. Things are looking good otherwise, though. Should be putting another little chunk of change towards the Humvee this coming Friday. And hopefully again next week on Thursday.
Budgie friend just followed.
Budgie friend, thank you for the follow. Yeah, the only other thing I've really been working on is that Reliant, the smaller one. Just to get it done so the person who wanted to buy it from me can do that. I only meant to do it anyway as a study model, and I hadn't intended on keeping it regardless. Welcome to the channel, Budgie. What do you like working on? But yeah, Bruno's terrarium we're probably gonna get rid of. I got her third hand. Somebody else had owned her, and I'm guessing she was rescued from them. And then the second owner took care of her for long enough, had her for a good number of years. And I had her for about 3, and then she finally just passed away. It was quick too, so I've kept reptiles enough times to have a good basic knowledge, and she'd always been, you know, happy for a gecko, and then just overnight she just slowed down. I could tell her breathing was labored. Then next day she wasn't there, so. I don't know exactly how old she was, but she wasn't the youngest. Sorry you're seeing the slow part. The track assembly like this I normally try and do off stream, because the cleanup is so tedious and repetitive. I know we started with painting on the interior. We might just get the tracks done today. They might take up most of the time on the stream. I'm still thinking the Chieftain Mark 11 should be the next Takom kit, though. And I also need a new loader's machine gun for the Abrams. Somebody got up in my desk and tossed out the Tupperware that I'd had all the parts in for it. In terms of like the stowage and stuff. I didn't know that they'd also knocked the gun off the tank onto the floor, and before I saw it, my shoe found it. And it wasn't just like a flat, you know, step down crunch, oh I can glue it back together. No, this was a sliding scuff that shoved it into the carpet and bent it in like 30 different directions. So I need to either find STL files or find another really cheap example of the kit to rob one from. 2 more, then we can get back to gluing. And then more link and length track. Let's see if Budgie followed. That should put us at 7:39. Go on. Can we get one more follow, one more sub on YouTube? Hey, Aris. All right. Back to gluing. Meep. If my fumbly fingers won't fuck this up. There's 3 pips and 3 divots, so not too easy to screw these up. One, two, three, four. Gotta make 10 wheels more. I didn't even have to make the wheels to do this. Great. Anywho. Doing it anyway. Get it out. Get it done.
At Aris Studio said he'll be lurking.
Alright. Lurk.
At Aris Studio said Yano, that nasty work thing.
Oh, I know. I work tomorrow through next Saturday. Don't know what my next stream day will be. Probably either next Sunday or Monday. Depends on how the schedule next week breaks down. It's very odd that I have 2 weeks in a row where I have Sunday, Monday off. We'll see how that goes. So that goes on there, like I said. And then one of these goes on here. Then we put the track on it. But I want to get the rest of these road wheels put together first. I've also been thinking of doing another 3D print model. I forgot Golden Armor was doing some of the colony support vehicles from Aliens. And they've released some of the more odd the background vehicles that you don't see getting used, but you see them like in the background. So I was thinking of maybe doing one of those. I can put the link up here in a second if you guys want to see what I'm talking about.
Busy builder.
Yeah, I was
sent a
thinking of
link.
doing one or both of
At
those
Busy
two.
Builder 4071 sent a link.
The six-wheeled truck you see outside the bar when a pwn scans across the landscape when they arrive. And the yellow one is supposed to be tracked, and it does come with parts for that. And you see it in the lower camera, and you see it outside the bar too. But you see it in the lower camera in the director's cut moving along outside the colony. But I've been having squirrel moments, so you guys decide. What do you want to see me do next? These can all wait back in the box now. Hi, kitty girl. All right. Oh, really? This is what you're doing? Okay. Let me guess. I annoyed you, so you're going to annoy me, huh? It's cat break time, apparently. Allie. We've talked about this. Thank you.
At Leo2A7BK said they look interesting.
Yeah, they're just background colony vehicles from Aliens. Okay.
At RS Studio said you asked for it, lol.
Yeah. So we need D2. I gotta admit, that M60 was a pretty sweet build. Alright, and this one looks like... Yep, goes just like that.
At George Davis 7629 said I want to see stuff that builder wants to build.
Oh, these are things that I want to build, but I also want to know what you guys would like to see next. D7 and D4. And letting you guys, you know, pick and assist like that helps keep things interesting, because I know it's something you guys also want to see. D4.
At Leo2A7BK said just looked a bit. Does any make the 8-wheeled survey vehicle neat and her family use?
There is one. It's on CG Trader. I'm not too happy with it. I'll look it up here in a second and show you. It's... Let me get this top rung started and then we'll do that. Have you ever seen pictures of the real model that they used in the film? It's as large as a Volkswagen. It was radio controlled, 8-wheel drive, 8-wheel steer. This is why we go slow, because I can see that this is going to test the ever-living shit out of my patience. There. Because I'm trying to do this without gluing it to the frame. The jig. I wish Golden Armor would do that, so you could do it in scale with the other two, but CG Trader. Print. Okay, it was up here. I may have to find it again through the guy that originally did it. Okay, hold on. There it is. Yeah, the parts breakdown is okay, but the model itself just still feels very crude. It's $22. I could probably super detail the shit out of it if I really wanted to. I just wish that somebody would do just a more refined one. It's definitely not unprintable and it's not unbuildable, but it's... I don't know. You take a look and you'll see what I mean. For the most part, it's right. Says it's going to print out at 1/9 scale, which is actually a good fucking size. I did not like what I looked down and saw them.
Said you're right. Looks a bit bland.
Well, like I said, it's not that it's wrong. And maybe the way it's broken down would... it would allow someone to super detail it. But with the amount of detail that's on it, it's not $22, you know? Like the ones that I linked to from Golden Armor. You can get them in a bundle for $30. Or independently for $20 each. And this guy took the time to research the actual, like, filming models and see what's there, see what they used to do it right. Okay, back on tracks. D5 times 7. Oh, this is gonna be fucking fun. Now, if somebody else out there does the Jordan family tractor better, by all means, send it to me, but that's the only one. Now, it should be Jordan with an E, not an A, but a lot of people spell it with an A, like Hal Jordan from the Green Lantern. And there's a neat bit of forced perspective in the scene where that 8-wheeled tractor enters the colony. As it drives by, you'll see it passes a guy covering up a little, like, golf cart looking vehicle down an alley. That was all done in camera using forced perspective. But again, sorry I haven't been active as much lately, just trying to keep that whole work-life balance thing going. And I'd like to know if anyone's looking forward to the Back to Basics build at all. I haven't really heard much one way or another on that. Come on. Don't do this. On, then I'll glue them. It's easier to get them stuck together that way. That's not good. You stay. Stay, Sprocket. Stay. There needs to be one more back here. I miscounted. D3. Part of me wishes I was better at 3D modeling, but unfortunately these old hands can't take being cramped up like that for too long. Trying to adjust the mouse or a stylus. Now you've seen the trouble I've been having just opening paint jars lately. If I knew how to do that, I really wouldn't be having much of a problem getting the models I'd like. What? Okay, I had it right. But hell, now they have programs where you can put pictures of a thing in them and it'll generate a 3D model. That's ridiculous. The only thing it doesn't do is break it down into parts. So you'd still need some semblance of skill in that area. Lincoln-length tracks are great and boring at the same time. With the advancements they've made in molding these days, like the rubber band tracks on that M60 were amazing. If they could do more like that, I'd be happy. Since I've been having trouble with the sprocket hopping off, I'm trying to assemble this length to wrap around it before I put it on it. After I get this part done right here, I'm going to take my move around brake. I'm overdue for it as it is.
Mustard 353 said, did you get any snow or ice over there?
No, Colonel Mustard, we haven't. Which is very unusual for where I live. We should have at least like 1.5 to 2 feet in the grass by now, and we don't. I use that measurement for the fact that, you know, it melts on the sidewalk and the streets, but it maintains itself on the grass pretty well. And yeah, we haven't even had that. It's like every single storm's fucking going around us. In the middle of all that's going on, the rest of the country, we're stuck in an inversion. We're just stuck.
Colonel Mustard 353 said we got 20 inches.
We're stuck at a steady, you know, mid-40s high, mid-20s low, and just back and forth right there. And it is so infuriating. You have no idea. Not even rainstorms. No snow, no rain. Absolutely nothing. Because of the inversion. And we just need some kind of superstorm to come in and clear it out. Even the forecast, it keeps showing, oh, you might have snow this... Let's use this Wednesday, right? I looked at the forecast this morning. It said snow Wednesday. Let's see what it says now. Still saying snow Wednesday. We'll see. Because we ain't got shit. And it's infuriating because now when the spring and summer come around, it's going to be, oh, don't water your grass. And then, oh, we're going to fine you for letting your grass get yellow. And all that kind of shit. Back and forth and back and forth. It's like, come on, people. If you know we're under drought restrictions, don't fine us. I've seen one other year like this, and that was 2002 going into 3. It had almost this exact same thing, and then February hit, and it just went blammo. So we'll see. We have no idea what the weather's going to do right now. You would think with all the storms coming down like they have been, this altitude in Utah would be like prime real estate for that kind of thing. But it's not. Okay, now according to the instructions, I don't put the bottom rung on.
George Davis 7629 said just invert that mountain already.
Right? That's because we're in a valley. I'm going to let that set up for a minute. While it's doing that, I'm going to take my mover on break. I will be right back down. So, going to put up the pause screen. We'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. And if you guys want to see me just put everything else aside, outside of the back to basics build and just like work on Vincent, I can do that too. Just feel kind of directionless right now. Alright, that side is together. Actually, let me see what day February 15th is, and I can give a more precise start time based on that. That's a Thursday. Oh wait, no. No, it's a Sunday. I might be off that day. So we'll play it by ear. But so far it looks like the way my schedule's been, I should be able to start that day. If not, I'll put something up in the community page. So anyone wanting to join in or follow along has a better idea. Gotta remember this one I'm working backwards. Number 7, D7. I hope we can get back to the interior on this before the end of the stream. There's a lot I'll have to pre-paint before I even glue it in, just so I know I have the room to work on it and paint it. Yeah, if anyone's thinking of going and seeing Return to Silent Hill, wait till it comes to streaming. It's not worth the money in theaters. It's not even worth the visual spectacle in theaters. There was nothing. Everything was so visually disjointed. It was actually more confusing seeing it on a big screen. Which is a shame because the game, to be honest, the game can't translate well if you try and do all of it. In order to do the story as portrayed in the game right, you would need at least a one-season miniseries dedicated to the 6 different characters in the game and their backstories. And the way they tried to kind of link them all to a central character in this did a disservice to the original story, which was honestly an adaptation of Crime and Punishment. Teeny tiny trek. Thanks again to all the subscribers this month on the YouTube side. I think that's the largest period of growth we've had in quite a while. That's 39, almost 40 subs in a month. I really do appreciate it, and it shows that I must be doing something right. Yeah, no, don't stick to my finger like that. There was no glue to do that. Why did you do that? D6 and another D5. See, that one lined up perfectly. Go. That's 7 more of these. We're almost done with the tracks for now. Yeah, I've got some ideas on how I want to go about lighting Vincent. There's not a lot of lights on him. They're mainly on the body. The main thing I'm torn between, I can get the parts out too and we can look at them a bit more thoroughly. Maybe you guys can throw some ideas back at me. Is I can either light them using a button cell, right, and just have a couple LEDs inside just broadcasting, which can work. But if I do that, it means I have to keep the button cell accessible. And if I want to light them using, say, a 9-volt or something a bit more robust, I would need to drill a hole, run wires through a stand, and all that, which kind of removes the cool-looking wire stand that it comes with. Which for 81, it was interesting that MPC thought of that. So yeah, let me get this track finished. We'll get Vincent back out for a deeper look, if you guys don't mind and you want to see more of that. A lot of people seem to be interested in him. And it's no surprise, though. It's the first time the kit's been available since '81. There's other people out there doing builds of them, but they just feel a bit more, you know, I got it earlier than everybody else, I'm gonna rush it kind of stuff. And I want to take my time and have him looking mostly right. I wish I had access to the paint and I could remember which one it was. I think it was Humbrol aluminum spray. But when the paint sprayed, at least back in 2005 when I did it, it had that rough, almost Hammerite style finish that the robot has to scale, right? It wasn't a good, smooth, even tone like what I sprayed out here. Because you see how that's nice and even like polished metal. It actually had that rough, you know, this was sprayed on feel. I really think the box with him and Maximilian got left behind in England, because I don't remember them coming back to the States with me. There's a couple boxes that got left out of my TMO shipment that I didn't really think about until too much later. I couldn't remember what was in them. And just think, I had almost pulled the trigger on Vincent and Max right before Round 2 announced they're re-releasing them. Just so I could have them with the Cygnus. And I even joked while I was building the Cygnus. I don't know how many of you were here for that. But during the build I said, watch, as soon as I finish this, within a year, Round 2 will announce they're re-releasing these kits. It was a bit longer than a year, but sure enough, as soon as it was finished and out there and done, Round 2's like, oh yeah, we're re-releasing these now. I still don't think I paid too much at the time for it, though, considering it was a sealed kit that had no sign of being repopped at all at the time. Other people wanted $400 to $500 for their models that had been built, sitting on their shelves, losing parts since the 80s. Or open boxes that they couldn't guarantee there weren't parts missing. You know, they wanted $300 for one of those. So $250 for a sealed one? I'd consider that fair. But that's me. Now you're seeing one of the reasons I don't wear hats too often. Make my head itch. There we go. We'll let that dry a bit longer on there. And while that does that, so yeah, there's the stand like you saw in the other video. So you plug that in there, that gets plugged into his back right there. And it makes him look like he's hovering. Pretty ingenious for 70 or 79, 81 area. But the only real lights on him are here, here, this display here, and I've got the paint so I can paint match the color, but I'd need to put the decal on first and then use these dots as alignments to drill all the necessary holes. That way, once they're done, I can backfill them with the yellow, red, and green clear paint. And then there's a light that comes out through here, and same thing here. They're like an orange reflector kind of light. So that being the case, I could either go the classic route, put a rod up his butt, fill that hole, and run wires, or make him wireless, and that's not going to stay together. Oh, kind of wireless. I could put his head together, and instead of using this part for the brain mechanism, right? You only see this once during the film, and that's when he gets shocked by Maximilian. I can replace this and hide it under the dome, but I could put one of those small 12-volt batteries in, the 12-volt AAAs, and just use the dome as the support under his headpiece, magnetize it somehow, and that way I've got the little battery supplying power to the LEDs that are in his body that I can switch out whenever I want. Put a little on-off switch in there. That way I can maintain that floating stand and just pop the top off, turn them on, pop it back on. That way I wouldn't sacrifice anything in the model in terms of the overall look, and it keeps it more well contained. What do you guys think? That's my idea, anyway. And it would allow me to retain the spinning head, too, I think. Because, yeah, it's hollow all the way through. So without the chrome part on there, I could have the wires going down through the center of this, and it wouldn't mess anything up. I think that's what I might do. And the only other change I might have to make, I've really got to watch the movie again to be sure. These areas right here, when his lasers are out to show that he's armed, they go right here, and I think they glow orange. So I'd have to cut the appropriate size chunk off of these parts and put some clear acetate on there and either put the decal over it or just paint it clear orange and use that. But there's nothing that has to be terribly bright or intense. So I'm thinking with maybe either 3 independent LEDs or a 9-string strand of the LED strip I use in all the Star Trek models. Because, yeah, I just have to paint... Alright, I have to get this to glow and that to glow back here. Let me see here. So if I could just make a half-round mount that just a strip of plastic right here that comes out that I could tape the LED stuff to, and then paint everything white before I do that, but mount the LEDs in there like that so there's enough bounce. That might work really well and be simple, because it would be enough. I don't want it directly behind here because I want that screen to glow. It's got to go through this decal, so I want that green to be brightest. I might have to look at that and figure out how to do that a little bit better too. Yeah, I really got to watch the movie. But yeah, I can get that going, and it would also illuminate these lights down here, but it wouldn't be a direct light shining out of any one port, so it would have that diffusion. It wouldn't be just a direct, there's your light. That's the best way I can think of to handle it. And that way he's his own self-contained unit. Remove the top of the head. Then that way I can replace the battery as needed. Yeah, I think I'll do that. And I'll have to rescribe some of these panel lines. Alright. Oops, sorry, I bumped the camera. Let's get that back in there. Anyway, that's the idea and the plan for how to light him. Because, yeah, there's not a lot. There really isn't. Ow. Oh. So we've got the 2 track sections glued together. Hopefully not glued to the template. Come on, you nasty bugger. There we go. Yeah, not glued to the template. They'll stay there. Okay, let's go back to the destructions and see what they're not telling us. So the seats, from what I can tell, have always been a dark green vinyl. Let me look here. Yeah, the seat cushions have always been a dark green vinyl. The walls are padded, but with primarily silver paint showing through. Come on, enlarge. Yeah, okay. So, let me get my cork brown out and start doing the pads that are on this. So that'll be this panel, a bunch of other little ones. Where did I put that color? I just hope this model goes more like the M60 once we get a flow of things. Where did I put it? There it is. Let me shake these up, see which one's closer. Okay, looks like cork brown it is. I was right. Excellent. I hope Model Student's okay. He hasn't been in at all today. He's normally one of the first ones in here to say hi. Or do I have to look at an empty model kit box and say his name 3 times fast? Everybody else have a good weekend, though? Don't tell me I hit mute on this thing. No. Alright, which one do I want next? Give me a second to get some music up and going. Let's do that one. There we go. I'm sure plenty of people are going to ask, well, why didn't I just paint it the wood color and go back for the aluminum? I really hate hand brushing metallics. Especially if I want them to read a certain way. we may cut this stream a bit short today anyway. We've gone 2 hours, but I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. Actually, a lot of bit hungry. Another thing I ordered in was another set of the 35th scale camo fabric, as I've run out of the sand one, and I've run out of the green one. I never really wanted to use it too much, but so many modern vehicles look right with it on it. The only thing I dislike is it can cover up a lot of detail. But when you get it draped right, it just looks right, you know? Don't know if I'll put it on the back to basics build. Because as far as I know, that material didn't exist back in the time period we're trying to build our models from. I think AFV Club may have made it. I just don't know when they started to. Alright, painting this padding isn't as difficult as I thought it would be. It's not right now, it isn't. There's 3 main parts that need it. I want to at least get 2 done today. That feels right to me. Come here, you. Remind me to check my camera here and make sure that it's not smudged. It just feels very odd today. It could be the metallics fucking with it too. This will look really good with a black detail wash on it. Just to add a little bit more separation of the detail. The contrast itself works really well. Definitely have to go with the oil paints on this one when I do that. Come on, get in my hand, thank you. Sorry if I'm being a little quiet today, too. Sometimes it's not bad to be a little mentally empty, for lack of a better word. But come Friday, I want to order either Yeah, I think I want to order the files for the double pack of the Aliens vehicles. Because both are ones I wanted to do models of for a while. I had the paper models for a little while, but they don't last long. They, you know, just the temperature in the room gets to them, ambient humidity, all that stuff. Alright. Yeah, this interior is definitely going to have to be taken one piece at a time because of how much stuff they have kind of overlapping. Like this one goes here. This one goes on this side. I did paint on it, but I only misted it, so it should just be cut right through with the glue. Let's find out. Yep. Just put a little glue where we kind of need it. And just let it do its thing. Similar thing on this one. Try and put it on a little extra thick because it will spread out underneath once you get everything on. The instructions have you putting the seats in before you glue them in. I prefer to do it this way. The seats are going to require enough assembly and cleanup as they are. G6 and 7. Get that aluminum paint back out just in case I need to brush some. Come here, paint. Come here. Thank you. I didn't think I'd painted these, but that's okay. I'm going to be doing some research for some other panel colors as well. Figure out what the heck is going on here. So this protrudes to this side. There's no real identifier. Unless there is a small line in there. This goes down like that. Yep, okay. So if anyone else wants to build this, the instructions aren't very clear on it. In this part, there's a small line molded in. The bottom of this has to meet up with that, leaving the top exposed and angled outward like that. That's how you get that part aligned properly. I fucking hope. And then it gets glued here. So, let me put the aluminum out. Again. Tweezers, where'd you go? There we go. Gonna hold it by where we are not gonna really see it anyway. And I'm not gonna put paint on the area we're not gonna see, which is the backside. Which will also help with gluing. That's padding. Okay. That's better. I'll have to let that dry. Yeah, the silver color really screws with the autofocus, I can tell.
At the model student 20 said hi everyone.
Wow. Wondering when you get in. We're nearing the end of the stream already. But there's a lot of pre-painting I'm going to have to do on this, it seems like, before I can even begin to assemble. So I'm just going to have to get all my greens and blacks and browns and silvers out and go over the sprues, basically, and pre-paint whatever I can before I clip it off, and then touch up. That's going to take a while. Or I could set this one aside too and just work on Vincent or something. I don't know. I'm feeling another focus shift come on.
20 said just woke up trying to beat this heat cold.
Yeah, you mentioned you had a head cold on the carrier build. Unfortunately, once you've got a cold, there's not much you can do except fight the symptoms. A good high-proof vodka might work. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to call it a stream for today. We've actually done quite a bit, even though it doesn't seem like it. We've got the interior pre-painted a little bit. We've got the track assemblies put together. Put them back on their jig to help finish in the glue setting a little bit.
At the model student 20 said vodka might work lol.
Well, the last time I had vodka it was the cheap shit. And it hit me like Vicks Vapor Rub in the nose, so I'm just saying. And these jigs wouldn't be a bad place to keep these, to keep them from getting broken or flexed the wrong way. So, yeah, we're going to keep those there for now. Let me at least get this glued on so I don't lose it. Yeah, the last week, it's just been hard because I haven't really been interested in doing anything. Like, I'm interested in the subjects. It's just been really hard for me to focus on building right now. For various reasons that I discussed earlier. I do like this 432 kit. Tonight I might go through and pluck out radios and boxes in their right colors and stuff like that. Not much on assembly though. But I want to get something to eat. It's been shorter than usual. It's been 2.5 hours, but like I said, I'm kind of playing catch up with last week. So, but not a terrible start. Not the best, but not terrible. That ought to pop really nice with an oil wash. I don't even know if the camera's picking that up because of the shine. Yeah, that'll pop nicely. So yeah, we'll wrap it up here. I'll have a think on what I really want to do next before we start the back to basics build. I think overall I just need something simple. Something I can slam together. Palette cleanser kind of build, not anything serious, which is probably part of why I ordered the ferret. That old Italy Testers fake Russian stealth from the 80s. But yeah, that'll be here hopefully in the next few days. Or like I said, I can start on Vincent. There's some minor scribing I've got to do. There's some really minuscule detail fixes. But I'm really thinking what I've got in mind for doing the lights would work best.
At the model student 20 said cool checker plate. She's quite quite the vixen today. I am getting ready for the back to basics build.
Yeah, I still have to, I was at the dollar store yesterday and completely brain farted getting it. The wall filler. I don't know if your dollar stores would carry the same brand ours does, but it'll give you an idea what to look for. There's one right by my work, so I might just pick some up on the way home tomorrow afternoon. We'll see. But I've got I got what I need for the snow mix. I've got the groundwork, the scifi clay. This stuff. It's basically paper mache powder, so it's more.
At Leo 2A7DK said should be fun watching the ferret.
Do you know what the ferret is? Or did you have to Google it? It's the MiG-37 Ferret E by Testers. But there's the scifi clay, that's for the groundwork. And you can even use it for thick mud if you want to, but I've got a better idea for that that'll work. That's what I need the wall filler for. But not any wall filler, because it can't have the aluminum oxide in it. You know what? I'm just going to order those. I've got the money. I get VA Friday. I'm just going to order the barbed wire and sticks tonight, have them on the way. And these are things that were available aftermarket-wise even back then. Because I really want to recreate the box art. Just the way the vehicle looks on the box art. Not a lot of stowage, a really basic scene, and just the one guy with the binoculars staring out, so. That's the idea, anyway. So yeah, I'll try and be on in the middle of the week. I don't know when my next stream day is going to be as far as next week. Given how my schedule's been, I've put February 15th as tentatively for the start date on the Back to Basics build. And I want to allow about a month's worth of time for that. I want to try and like break each stream down into sections, like, okay, here's the basic model build, here's the painting, here's the groundwork, you know.
Not talking British armor.
Yeah, but I found the ferret for $10 on eBay. I couldn't resist it. It's something I've always wanted to build. Always saw it as a kid. I built the teardrop-shaped F-19 tons of times. I want the weird monogram one, but I can't find that. I can't find that one cheap. I'd like to though. But that's another thing. That might be another back to basics like aircraft build. Do I want to do it black? Do I want to give it? I've seen some people do a splinter scheme. Do I want to give it a flanker scheme or like a digital scheme? We'll throw things around and see what sticks when we get to that. That could be another back to basic style aircraft build. Just on how to make aircraft pop, you know, basic scribing, things like that. Saying a lot today too. I'm just brain tired lately. That's what's been kicking my ass, is just the motivation's there, the mental energy isn't. So yeah, I'll try and be on, I want to say Wednesday, Thursday. The wall filler's kind of different. It's not so much plaster, it's finer, more airy. It's more like a matte acrylic medium than it is plaster. That's why I'm using this particular one, the way it mixes with the paint. And you can use Toll paint. I'm gonna find a way to waste a lot of this Mission Models olive drab and stuff. Oh geez, model student. Yeah, but sorry to jump off right as you're jumping in. You got 2 hours of video to watch though if you want. But yeah, I'll try and be back Wednesday, Thursday. If not, I'll at least put some shorts and some quick vids up. I'll have most of what I need for the rest of the basics build. So I'll probably do a video explaining what we need for all that. And we'll go from there. Seeing that your vehicle isn't much different than the LAV, you should be able to follow along pretty well. Yeah, I'll catch you all later. Thanks for hanging out, and I will hopefully see you Wednesday or Thursday, at least to get a stream in and let you know when the next main stream day is going to be.